gravel bike. It's not an ideal gravel bike, but it's a rigid XC bike with drop handlebars. I guess calling it a Monstercross bike would be much preferred.
Okay, a little backstory. I had this bike for a long time, and when I mean bike, I'm talking about the frame. This Mosso Challenger brought me to my very first trail rides. I was a student back then, didn't have any money, and this bike was all I had. Yet, it was because of this bike that I developed a love for mountain biking. I conquered my fears, I escaped toxic reality in the past, I discovered what mountain biking actually meant, all because of this bike. When I finally got a job, I was able to build a new bike that can really match my riding style. As a result, I had to sell most of the components of my old bike until it was just merely a frame. Here in our place, we only have two seasons, wet and dry. During the wet season, the trails are not really in good shape. You can still ride it, but it wouldn't be that much fun, and you'd have to go through the burden of thoroughly washing your bike, gear, and yourself as soon as you get home. So I thought of road cycling, as you can reach places away from the city. That's actually one of my philosophies on a bike. A bike for me is an escape from urban environment. The thing I don't fancy about road bikes are their tires. I actually want to explore secret roads, but they tend to be very rough, and these really thin road tires won't surely survive. Anyway, I never had any real plans for my old frame at first, but there was one time I found out the idea about gravel bikes and monstercross bikes, which is rather interesting. I would be able to use this bike for the road and also explore those secret rough roads and do a little single track. Another reason why I built this bike, I'm actually planning to try bike packing this year or probably next year. It would be an awesome experience and I'm really all about the adventure. Anyway, going to the components. They're all budget components. I don't think their brand names are all worth mentioning. Maybe I'll mention a few though. Seat post is Bontrager Race X Light Carbon, which was with the frame since the beginning. The rigid fork is Mosso. It's a really good rigid fork. You ask a bike shop here in Asia about the best quality rigid fork you can ever get, they would likely recommend Mosso. My levers are Sagmit. It's a local brand here and they have an infamous reputation of ripping off designs from other brands. I don't know if this design is original or copied. The shifting style is full swing and half swing. If you know where the design came from, please let us know in the comments. I think it's decent enough, I guess. It's not that bad, but I never encountered problems with it yet. The wheel set is a 26 by 1.95. These are XC tires, obviously. The drivetrain is 2 by 8. Although the crank is a 3 by, I only shift between the second and the third chainring. I thought of going 1 by, but I actually want a wider range of gears to ride faster on the flats and survive on the deadly climbs. Yeah, and the pedals. I would want clipless pedals, but I couldn't afford them, and plus I practice wheelies on this bike and flat pedals would still be essential. The bike is really light, and I guess that's one thing I really like the most. So, how does it ride? Different from when it was a mountain bike. The rigid fork and the drop bars really changed the feel of the bike. Way faster than it was on the road, obviously, and less comfortable off-road. Fun though, it still does technical climbs well, only a bit more challenging, although in here I was able to catch up with the mountain bike. There was a downhill event on this trail and I've tested it out there. It was really hard to find flow, very challenging, and that's the fun of it. It's a completely different beast. I can really feel all the bumps in my thighs and arms, and I had to absorb all that since I had no suspension, which makes it not just technically challenging but physically challenging as well. So this is my bike. While the trails are still taking time to recover, I'll be exploring those secret dirt roads, doing my little solo adventure. What do you think of my bike? You think it sucks? Just tell it straight to me in the comments. If you think it's okay, like the video and also help me grow this channel by clicking on the subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any new uploads. The other week I went racing with some mountain bikers off-road, and if you want to see that, keep updated and subscribe.